Hello everyone. I'm Jay, your host at Everything Cloud Platform. Welcome to this session on logs. If you are an SRE, you gotta love logs. The Linux OS, the web server, the apps, every system you build logs a lot of telemetry. As an SRE, you must ensure that you have access to those logs and you are able to derive insights out of those logs. To do multiple things like A, detect issues and hence be able to alert on those, and B, restore your applications based on troubleshooting information you have in the logs. We'll pick up from where we left in the last video, host your website on Apache, webserver, or in GC. We did not configure the monitoring agents for that VM. In this video, we'll look at what logging shows you without the Ops agent and the telemetry you get once you install the Ops agent. Here are the sequence of activities that we will be performing in this video. We'll validate our existing Apache web server running on the Debian machine from the last video. We'll validate what the logs show us, remember, without the monitoring agent. We'll then install the GCP Ops Agent. We'll then validate the logs and see what additional telemetry do you get out of those logs. We'll then create the log-based, some log-based matrix, a good feature within GCP that every SRE or platform engineer should know. See where in Google Console you see these log-based metrics. Let's navigate to where we left off yesterday, to our Debian machine. Let's see if it's running fine. Everything is good with that machine. That's our machine. That's the external IP. I'll copy that external IP. Try and access it, make sure it's accessing well, it's running well. We'll do a quick check from our terminals as well. Yeah, note that SREs love logs and I truly believe in it. So we'll do a gcloud compute SSH into the machine. We'll make sure everything is good with this. We'll do the same thing here as well. Gcloud compute SSH VM Debian. Make sure we are good. I'll do a journal CTL -f. So we follow along here, looking at the logs there. And here, what we'll do is just do a curl localhost to make sure we are good. Of course, we are good because this is coming up fine. So all is well here. Let's take a quick peek at logging. This session is all about logging, right? So let's take a quick peek at the logs here. We'll open the logs explorer in a separate window here and take a quick look at the logs in the last few minutes, maybe last 10 minutes. You're seeing some logs here, right? Like we saw in the last video as well. You are seeing some logs as we were bringing up the machine. Now what we'll do is let's do this. I will just X out of this. Actually, I'll just exit from this. Now I'm back to my laptop. What we'll do is see this compute instances list. Let me get the external IP and we'll, if I do a curl this, that means I am accessing the website, right? This should show up somewhere in the logs. But if I just refresh it, it is not. Our recent access really does not show up in the logs anywhere. Say if I do a last 5 minutes, yeah. Nothing shows up really here. If I go beyond, like to a last 30 minutes, yeah, you'll see those original logs, behind from the back when we were creating the machine, but no logs as we are hitting the server, and that's not good. We want those logs. Even if I hit the server like in a loop. So let's do this. I want to make sure I'm hitting the right external IP. Now I'm hitting this server in a loop like 100 times. Every time I get a good response back, I get an HTTP 200 OK response for like 100 times like you see here. But none of that is still showing up. This should have been flooded so far with the logs. You should see, that's how you will be able to build your telemetry, your observability, your SLIs, SLOs, error budgets, all that good jazz. How will you be able to build all of that if you don't see this information in here? That's what we are going to address. That's what this ops agent does. Now you can very well go ahead and install the ops agent from here, but that's not what we'll do. We are engineers, we are SREs, we are platform engineers. We love the command line, right? We love the terminal, and that's where we'll install this ops agent from. And we will then go ahead and do the same thing like we did here. We'll hit our website and we'll be able to see all the logs. So let's go ahead and install the ops agent now. I'm just following the instructions available on Google documentation for installing the Ops Agent. If you go to this page, you will see the Ops Agent installation. You have some help videos here as well. Just go over this. And you'll find you'll need to go to your appropriate Linux distribution, and you'll go ahead and use what you need. The right page for our installation is the agent version Debian and Ubuntu. And if you look at this page, that's the link to this page is right from the other page, and this will give you all the instructions, and that's what we have done. So now going back to our machine, let's go ahead and follow some of these instructions to just deploy the monitoring agent. What you will need to do is just do a sudo curl and that the instructions from that page, and to these two commands will get your monitoring agent installed. Once this process completes, we will be able to quickly validate whether our agent is up and running or it's not running. So let's take a quick peek. The monitoring agent name is Google Cloud Ops Agent. That's what it is called. You are seeing that getting unpacked right here. Google Cloud Ops Agent. So let the installation complete, and then we will do a quick check. Can you guess what service or what command will be used to check the status of this service? Yeah, you guessed it right. System CTL, right? So if I do a system CTL status, that is active and running. Now what you need to know about this agent is there is a configuration file for this agent that's available in the /etc Google Cloud Ops Agent, and we'll see some of these Linux folders. You see every Linux machine on the root has these many folders, and each folder has a specific purpose and it is used for, and we'll cover some of that in the Linux related videos. But for now, just know that there is a log file for this Google Cloud Ops Agent that is in the etc folder in config.yaml, and the contents of this file are these are the contents. What we'll do is we'll replace these contents with what you're going to see next, and this is needed to configure the monitoring ops agent to receive Apache access and error logs. So the command that I will run now is here we go. Let me clear my screen. Let me make some more room so you're able to see this better. Now basically what this is doing is this is overriding everything that is in config.yaml with this text. So this is telling basically we are reconfiguring our Google Cloud Monitoring Ops Agent to receive Apache access and error logs. I'll say yes, and now I will just do a cat again on the same file. Now you see our content in. Now what do you think? If we hit this, we should be able to see the logs. That's what I would expect. So if I hit it 100 times now, let it the same web server 100 times, I'll do a local host from here to validate everything is still up and running. I will just do a refresh here to make sure our website is still running. Now I would expect to see all the logs in like last 5 minutes showing up here. Now I still do not see that those I expected to see a lot of 200 HTTP status, okay, 200 logs, but I don't see any of these. These log entries are from our Google Ops Monitoring Agent installation, but I'm looking for some access logs that have the HTTP status goes 200. We are not seeing that yet, and the reason we are not seeing that yet is we did not really restart our Google Cloud Ops Agent after the config change. So the config change that we did to route the Apache access and error logs, that change has not taken effect yet. So what we'll do is we'll do a quick restart. Now, all right, this says access denied. Yeah, the access denied because we need the root permissions. Now this restarted. Now let me do this. Let me hit this for like 75 times. Right, I'm hitting the web server for like 75 times, and let this complete, and we will start refreshing our logs here, and I hope to see some. Yeah, you started seeing these HTTP requests, and you're just seeing 3. Let this complete. Yeah, so 75 completed. Let me do a refresh. You see those 75 entries right here. All right, all of these are from our server access. Now if you open any of these entries, you see this HTTP request. Yeah, that's the get request URL. We access the root folder. Status was 200 response, right? If you see the labels, you will see all the relevant information. You'll see this resource, you'll see this label that points to our project, right? So we are looking at the right machine, response is coming from the right machine. What we will do is let me do one more thing so you are able to see what these logs tell us. What if I do a curl to this machine and I do a test? Now /test really does not exist. We get a 404 not found. Let's see if this shows up in our logs. If I do a quick run query, and yeah, that's the last 200. Let me refresh again. You see that 404? That's the 404 that we just ran into. So if you think about what you will be able to use this information for, say if you want to do your availability SLI, and you want to build some charting around that, you will be able to use this information, say count all the number of 200s and count all the number of 404s or other error codes that you got, and you will be able to calculate your availability SLI. That's how you use the logging information for. Let's put the logging information to use here. So what you're seeing here, I've set up this to induce some load to our application. On the left hand side in the black, we are running a while loop and an infinite loop to hit our server and get a good response. Right, good response in the sense just hit the server, you get the response, and it's induced some variability in after how much of time every request gets hit. It waits for a random period of time between 1 to 10 seconds before between each iteration. That's what this is doing. So it's running since last few minutes here. On the right hand side, I have induced some failures. All right, and here the iteration, the time between iteration is a random number between 1 to 100 seconds. So just to induce some variability. So that's what is going on. Our server is getting hit for some successful, just to generate some successful as well as failure responses. We'll see all of these in the logs, and we'll try and build some observability around it using the information in logs. That's how you go about eventually using the logs. Take a quick peek at how the logging information is showing up here. You're in the logs. If you take a quick look here, you're seeing all these 200s and these 404 scattered in between, and that all of that, like this is another 404 coming in, this is another 404. All of these are coming in from the load that we are inducing from here. So let this continue, and now we'll use this status code really to build some observability around it. We'll build a couple of log based metrics and do a quick Google search on GCP log based metrics, and you will land on this page and you can read about these log based metrics a little bit here. And we'll create a couple of metrics right here. What we'll do is we go here and we'll try and find the matching entries, and this is the feature that logging provides you. I'm filtering, running a query to filter out all the messages with HTTP request status equals to 200. That will become one of our log based metrics. I want to include one more condition, and that's our resource type GCE instance, right? I want to take this one in here. Doesn't matter, the order doesn't matter, but I think that's how I would like it. So that's our query that gives us all the HTTP status code 200 requests for all the VM instances running in this project. All right, so although we haven't included the project in the criteria, but I think we should just include that as well. It won't make any change in this because we just have one project. But say if you are dealing with multiple projects in your application, in your ecosystem, for the client your environment you're working in, then you will need to include more specific criteria for the log based metrics you're creating, right? So that's our criteria. Now we'll create a log based matrix, and that's how you go about creating. Just hit a create metric. We call this, say, good requests, right? Let's call this GCE good requests, right? Good. So these are our good requests. All the requests with HTTP status code of 200, right? And we say a counter. Don't go with distribution for now, just go with counter, and we'll get into some of these details later. But let's just go ahead and do this. Okay, let everything be default. Just create the metric. The second metric that we'll create is going to be the reverse of this, like with all the HTTP requests not equal to 200. And the simplest way of doing this is, say, if I just do that, that will just reverse the criteria, right? So if I just run this now, that is everything other than those. But now notice that this is also bringing in some of these others, like this one. That is, these log entries are from, say, if we are doing anything else, like if I'm SSHing into it or any other process is running on the server, even those are getting captured here. But I think we would want to exclude those out. To exclude, we will need to find something that is peculiar about our HTTPS requests. And if you just go through this and try to find something unique that applies only to our Apache requests, this probably might make sense, because we're going to be going after Apache access logs, right? So just go with the Apache access log. What I'll do is just do this and say show matching entries. This will update our query to include this in the criteria. Now look at the result. Now this is just going after all 404s. We will apply this criteria in the good request as well. But for now, let's just go ahead and create the GCE bad request as well. In the same format, let's just say GCE bad requests and say GCE HTTP status code other than 200. And that's our criteria. And I say select create a metric. Now this metric is also created. All the log based metrics are available here right within logging in log based metrics. If you click the log based metrics, you will see both the log based metrics that we created. If you want to look at the details, you will see the details and the criteria that we have applied. The logs criteria that we discussed for the bad ones, I have already updated the good requests as well to include that log name criteria here. The log based metrics are available also in the Matrix Explorer. And the way you access the Matrix Explorer is from monitoring into Matrix Explorer. In here, if you look at all the available metrics, you can search as well, but I'll point the location right here under VM instances. If you click these 90 metrics, you will see these log based metrics. And these were the two that were already there by default. These are the two that we just created. All right, let's look at what we did so far in the video. This is the recap of everything we did. We looked at the missing telemetry without the GCP Ops Agent. We installed the GCP Ops Agent, and then we validated the logs to view additional telemetry we get after implementing the GCP Ops Agent. And then finally, we created a couple of log-based metrics and looked at where in GCP console these are available. If you are somebody who's wanting to get into details on GCE, there is a course on Udemy that I have published in the past that just that gets into details of GCE reliability engineering. So this is the course I'm talking about, GCE reliability engineering using Terraform. So if you open up this course and then go through some of the objectives and the agenda, you will see that it runs through like 10 stages of maturity of running an application in GCE. So it teaches you a lot in depth on how do you go about running an application, going ahead with really running a web server, enabling the logging, using startup scripts, bash scripts, using Packer to build your compute images, using Terraform for IAC, then uses advanced GCE concepts like instance templates, managed instance groups, and then eventually using the load balancers and applying some of the networking best practices of not using an external IP and so on, and using CloudNet instead, and so on and so forth. I'm sure that course is going to be worth it if you want to get in-depth details into GCE. At this point, take a quick peek at the 36 foundational skills that we have been talking about. Highlighted are the ones that we touched upon as we worked through the logs in GCP. Well, that brings us to the end of this video on Google Cloud Logging. If you like the content, please do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to get notifications when new videos are posted. If you are genuinely interested in learning all the foundational skills that we have been talking about so far on this platform, stick around and follow along all the videos that are posted. I'm sure you had a wonderful time today, and I'll see you in the next lecture.